Hi, Kevin Henry with Dental Assisting Digest, talking today to author Lisa Newburger, who wrote one of our most popular articles of last year and still has popularity on our site, Mean Girls and How to Deal with Them in the Workplace. So, Lisa, I know bullying is one of your real passions and trying to talk about how to prevent that. Talk about some of your experiences as a patient where you actually saw bullying going on in the dental practice.
Well, Kevin, I actually refer to myself also as a TMJ queen because of the braces and the TMJ. Through the last 9 years, I've gone through a lot of dental practices and specialists and come across a lot of dental assistants. And one of the practices where my TMJ specialist was at, there was such tension every time they'd be working on me. So you have your mouth open and they're right on you, more or less. And no matter what these assistants did, it wasn't right. So you had a doctor who was grumbling, you had someone who was getting hostile and irritated, and you had a patient who was feeling all this stress while being worked on. And eventually one of the secretaries had asked, well, are you going to bring your kids here for the braces as well? And I said, there's no way. And when I explained why, I had decided as a patient I wasn't going to confront the doctor. I needed him. I wasn't ready to leave him, and what if he got mad at me? He still had to work on my mouth. So actually the secretary talked with him, and it worked out perfectly. He never addressed it with me. When he realized he was losing business, he changed his ways. He was able to retain his staff now, and there wasn't that kind of tension in the workplace.
You know, one of the things that really resonated with a lot of people about your article was the whole Mean Girls philosophy, and that this goes on in so many dental practices around the country. Talk about some of the suggestions that you have if somebody's feeling uncomfortable, if they're being bullied. What would you suggest that they do?
Well, one of the things is to be very careful who you talk to at work, because as you know, gossip runs rampant, and particularly if it's juicy. You need to find who the person is that you can talk with, whether it's your supervisor or someone who is going to maintain your privacy on it and not turn this into gossip. The key thing really is to be able to protect yourself, whether that is keeping track, a journal at home of incidences, dates, times, who was there, who witnessed it, what happened, or it may even get to a point of needing to take some time off. If it's leading to problem sleeping, stress, not wanting to come into work, stomach trouble, you know, those are reasons to actually go and talk to your doctor and let your doctor know what's going on, which also starts a paper trail. Because in the end, if there's harassment going on in the workplace, a lot of times it ends up with disciplinary action. Perhaps it's you had a call off because you just can't come in and face this. Well, eventually you can be terminated. So you have to protect yourself.
You know, a lot of times people don't talk about it because they're worried about the repercussions. You know, what if this other person gets talked to and then they're worse afterwards? Is that a risk that they should take, or do they just try to get deeper skin and just go on?
Well, I really believe that when there's a problem, you got to try to address it yourself first. And that means approaching the person and putting it out there as to, you know, is there an issue between you and I? Is there some reason why you're not comfortable working with me? Or it feels like you're kind of picking on me? You know, what can we do to make this a better working situation for both of us? And I really think that you first start with where the problem's at before running to higher ups or to other people to get involved.
You know, in bullying, we always think about kids and on the playground, but really this is a problem that you're seeing as you go around the country, right?
Well, one of the things we did was have bully parties or anti-bully parties and had focus groups with kids. And it wasn't just with kids. Sometimes it was with their parents. Sometimes it was with other adults that were not related to the kids. And what was interesting was to see how the adults started sharing their own experiences about workplace bullying or what happened to them as children. And the impact it had on these kids of, gosh, you're not just old, you really have been young once and you understand what I'm going through. And it really puts things in perspective that this isn't just a problem when we're kids and on the playground or in the schools. This is a problem that's continuing on into the workplace.
Do you find the old adage of once a bully, always a bully holds true?
I'm an eternal optimist. I like to think no. I think that, well, when I went to my 10-year high school reunion, one of the most popular, beautiful girls from high school was sitting at our table, took one look at me and said, and I quote, "I don't want you sitting here." And I couldn't believe after 10 years, I wasn't about to get up and move. And it was a real eye-opener that some people don't change.
So, Lisa, again, your article is one of the most popular ones, and really you strike a chord, it seems like, with a lot of our readers with some things that you write. What are some of your inspirations for some of the articles that you've contributed to Dental Assisting Digest? Is it just real-life experience or things that you see when you're out speaking?
To be honest, I think a lot of it is what I've witnessed with this dental issue of my own, that it's a different world. It wasn't a world that I was familiar with. I had good teeth beforehand, wasn't running to the doctor for cavities, but that I just started realizing, that there's a lot of women and men, but mostly women, who are doing this kind of work, and really there's issues that we're dealing with. And one of the biggest concerns I've had is people's confidence or lack of self-confidence, and how do you build that up? And so I think a lot of the articles were tied into how do we boost morale, how do we help people to grow personally and professionally.
So if someone has some questions about bullying or wants to get in touch with you, how's the best way for them to reach you?
They can give me an email at lisa@discussdirectives, DISCUSSDIRECTIVES.com, or go to the website, www.discussdirectives.com.
Sounds good. Well, Lisa, we appreciate you being a part of the DAD team, and thanks so much for all you do.
Thanks, Kevin.